Hello everybody, welcome back, and I am TheChornick, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about Takagisan Season 2, Episode 10, and ladies and gentlemen, this might actually take it now from Episode 7 as the best episode of Season 2. And the reason why Episode 7, Episode 9, and Episode 10 were so good is because they referenced other things from the past. Or even from the future. So like episode 7, for example, it got bonus points because it showed older Takagi looking at a picture of herself and Nishikata from back when during their little field trip, right? But then episode 9 had the box thing, which is the first thing that we saw Nishikata try to scare or tease Takagi with, and he revised it with something new. And ended up cheering her up and all that good stuff in episode 9, and so there was like kind of like bonus points right there for them bringing something back that happened back in season 1, right? And it was like the first thing that us as an audience kind of saw him try to do to get back at her, right? And then here in episode 10, we had this whole theme about kissing, which not only was a reference back to the previous episode, right, with the ending and the phone calls or the phone messages, right? But it was also a reference to the theme song of season 1, where the whole song is kind of based around saying, I don't mind people getting the wrong idea as long as it's with you. And this becomes very, very significant towards the end of this episode. It was about the entire episode was about it. The entire theme of this episode, it didn't like jump from some, like one skit to another. Like there was a huge theme and story behind this whole episode. We saw a bunch of different moments where Nishikata and Takagi had really awkward moments where someone would walk in and think they're doing something, right? Especially the first scene where we saw Yukari-chan come in and she was like freaking out because she's thinking that Nishikata and Takagi were kissing, but really Nishikata was just trying to grab Takagi's face to open her eyelid so he could win this little contest that they're having about, you can't get this in my eye, basically. And so Nishikata's like, okay, shoot, I gotta just pry her eye open because she's not gonna open it no other way, right? So that's what he's going in for, but of course, freaking Yukari-chan thought that he was going in for a kiss or something when she walked into the room, and so that moment was extremely funny. And right off the bat, the moment that happened, where she opened the door and she started freaking out, like I was like, this is definitely in the top 3 episodes of season 2. But it goes on even more than that. So, of course, Yukari-chan, I think that's how you say it. I think that's her name because I know that, like, Mina calls her that. But I know Nishikata calls her something else. It's kind of confusing, but yeah, like the tall girl with the glasses and all. So she, like, freaks out thinking that Takagi and Nishikata are a thing, right? And she's always been that kind of character. And so it was perfect for her to be implemented in this scene and throughout the story of this episode. So not only was it nice to see one of like the side characters, have a good role in this episode, but it was also like the fact that all these other characters also had a good role too. Like every other character, like even Hojo, for example, like that kind of relationship that is going on between Nishikata's friend and Hojo, the girl with the birthmark on her face, right? Like, we get to see a little romantic moment with them. He's trying to make gains on her, right? And when Takagi and Nishikata are playing hide and seek, and of course, Takagi over here has freaking sneak level of 100, right? So she just, like, creeps up on him while he's hiding behind the barrels, and successfully and flawlessly just, like, sits down next to him without him noticing. And it was just perfect. Like, Takagi is straight a sneaky, skill, teasing master, right? But anyway, so they were hiding behind this barrel, right? When those two people, Hojo and I keep forgetting his name, but the Gary, like, tall guy, right, Nishikata's friend, enter the area and sit down on those little, what looks to be logs or something. They sit down over there for, like, a rest or whatever. He's just trying to spend extra time with her, so that's why he's taking her over there. But of course, now Nishikata and Takagi are hiding behind this barrel together, like, and Nishikata's, like, freaking out, like, shoot. Now we can't, leave because then they're going to get the wrong idea. If, we come out of the side of the barrels, they're going to think that we were kissing, just like how Yukari-chan thought they were kissing when they were playing the little eye drop game, right? So, again, it's the same thing where it's someone's going to get the wrong idea. That's, like, the theme of this whole episode. And it just carries on, and it's not just, like, a bunch of random skits. Like, no, it's, like, it's a whole theme, and like the episode is just so pure, and it revolves around a whole idea, which is the first opening song, which we'll get to that in a second. But of course, Nishigata is wanting to leave, but he can't. He's like, shoot, what are they gonna think? And Takagi kind of just leans herself closer to him, and she was like, well, there's only one way not to give them the wrong idea, and that's to actually give them the idea that's true, which is, she started leaning towards him, and she was about to freaking kiss him. So I was like, Nishikata, my dude, like, how are you still oblivious by now? She literally was just leaning in, about to kiss you. Like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he still thinks that it's embarrassing, or that, like, their relationship isn't that, or that she doesn't think of him like that. Like, and I'm like, after everything that's happened, you're still oblivious. Like she's literally leaning towards you to kiss you, even though she doesn't have to. Like, and she says all this other stuff to you. Like, come on, dude. It's been 2 years, right? It's about to be summer vacation, which, by the way, is probably going to happen in the next episode. We'll start seeing a little bit more of the summer, which means, I guess, like, these characters are going to go on to being, like, 30 years or whatever. So, of course, she was leaning in to kiss him, but he was like, no, wait, Taki, that's not right. And he, like, falls over, on the side of the barrel. And, of course, Hojo and the other dude, like, notice him, and they're like, And then Takagi jumps up on the top of the barrel, and she's just like, hey. And Hojo's like, hey. And there's just, like, a really awkward, like, silence for a couple of seconds. And then freaking Nishikata was like, it's not what you think. I promise, it's just hide and seek. And so, like, his reaction and him talking like that, to me, just makes it more suspicious. Like, it gives it away even more that they were doing something naughty, or that they were kissing or something. It gives, the way he reacted, like, I think that just saying, oh, we were playing hide and seek, and, like, just being more serious about it and more calm, I think, wouldn't have given it such a weird, wrong idea, right? But, of course, he reacted in a way that made it look like they were really trying to hide something. And so that was just extremely funny. And then he was like, Taki, say something. And she's like, yeah, it was a thrill. And of course they all like perked up and blushed, and they were, oh my god, it couldn't have gotten better than that, in my opinion. So this episode really just sealed the deal, and probably beats episode 7 as the best episode of season 2 so far. But ladies and gentlemen, then we had the ending, right? Takagi and Nishikata start walking home. Takagi, obviously, she hasn't taught her lesson to Nishikata yet. So she grabs this note off the ground, which is like this treasure hunting map or whatever, right? Or what they think it is, right? But it ends up just being a path that leads to some tree where some past couple had their first kiss or whatever. So, of course, kissing is like a huge theme in this episode, as well as people getting the wrong idea. But Takagi tries to explain to Nishikata that she doesn't care what people think. Like, she's fine with it. She's fine with people thinking that they're a thing, that they're kissing. Like, she's fine with it. And of course, to me at this point, I'm like, Nishikata, she's literally saying that she's okay with people thinking that they're in love. Like, how is that not a huge freaking sign to you that, like, I just can't understand this man. Anyways, of course she wants to listen to music with him. He's like, oh, no, I don't want to, whatever, that's gonna look embarrassing. But she's like, no, it's okay. And, like, I'm fine with it. She's trying to explain to him, like, you don't need to be nervous or embarrassed by this. Like, I'm fine with it. I don't care what they think. Like, as long as it's with you, essentially. And then the whole music plays, and she plays that song, and they listen to it together, and he kind of calms down, and they listen to that opening song of the first season, right? The theme song. And it was about basically that I don't care if people get the wrong idea. And that was like the whole theme of this episode, and just, wrapping this episode up in a nice little present. Like, it was so pure and it was so good that ultimately just like, I can't wait to see what happens next too. And like, I hope that they continue with making even better episodes. Like, if the next episode is better than this one, that would be amazing. Like, I honestly think that they're gonna do something serious. Like, he's either gonna end up holding her hand, because that was been a running thing throughout this entire season, or he's gonna kiss her or something. I legitly thought that she kissed him, that the writers actually got her to kiss him, and when the wind was blowing and we couldn't see them do it, and like, it was just silent and the wind was blowing, I legitly thought that they were kissing. I was like, no way, really? That wasn't actually not the case. So it was ultimately, they teased us on that regard, but ultimately it was a really good episode. Post in the comment section below your thoughts and feelings. I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Subscribe if you have not yet. Subscribe if you'd like to see more reactions of Takagi and reviews and whatnot. And apparently there's 2 more episodes left, so we have 2 more to go, and then hopefully maybe there'll be a season 3. You know, because it looks like they're going into summertime. It looks like there's going to be a 3rd year that they're going to be in school together. So they're going to be a year older. It's been 3 years since they first met. So I think something should happen by now, you know what I mean? So season 3, some serious stuff should happen. But anyways, I love your faces. Can't wait to see you in the next one. And peace off. Thank you very much.